Welcome. Hi, Bo. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm so glad to see you. I'm going to turn this down. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling nervous, but I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling nervous and confident if you could feel those two things at the same time.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. That's terrific. Good. It'll be fine. We'll just chat and, just take it easy. Just like we're in our living room talking to some people,
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I have a question. Will I be able to share my screen?
You should be able to share your,
Okay.
let's see. Let me try to make you. Try to share your screen.
It said I can't while the other participant is sharing.
Screen sharing. Okay. Now try it.
Okay. It says the same thing. It says
Oh,
I'm viewing your screen right now.
okay, try it now.
And then, okay, yes. So once we come up, I will be able to share. Okay, cool.
Okay. Just make sure you click the little box to share sound. You know what I'm talking about?
Share sound.
Like, when you click on screen share and then
Uh-huh.
this little box on the bottom.
Oh, yes, I see it. Okay, I will do that.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect.
I don't need it now. I just like whenever it's time. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So Inika's here from our practice too. Hi, Inika.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you. I don't know if you've met Bo,
No.
Lena Lord. She's one of our new providers.
How you
Hello, how are
doing?
you?
Good. How you feeling today?
I'm well. Happy Saturday and holiday and
Good.
break, all
Yes.
those things.
Yes. Thank you. Same to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to see you, Inika.
Oh my goodness, it's so good to see you.
Been so long, right?
I know, I know.
We gotta get together when I come
Yes.
to the city.
Yes, when you come down.
Yeah, definitely. So we had 66 registrants. Let's see if we get, if we get 20 people to show up, I'll be very happy. Because
Yeah.
you never get the amount that registered. So if 20 people show up, I think we did great.
Oh, that would be fantastic for sure.
And then also I'm gonna share it on our YouTube and like share it on our social media in different ways. So it should be good.
That would be great.
So, Bo, Innika does a lot of work around grief therapy and the grief group, and she is, Innika, tell me again about your grief counseling. I don't know how to express it the way that you do.
Yeah, pretty much my area of specialty is grief. In addition to being a certified grief counselor, I'm also a certified thanatologist and an end-of-life death doula.
Which is pretty terrific.
Yeah, and it's such a I feel like death is still such a taboo topic. So you don't find so much support around that time of your life. And we need a lot of support around grief.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Absolutely. Mhm. It's still like taboo to talk about or even think about or, plan and all that sort of stuff, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, LaWanda.
Hey, Lawanda,
Hi, everyone. Hi.
how are you?
I am well. Thank you. How are you?
Well, it's so good to see you.
It is good to be seen, and it's good to see you. It is good to see you. It's been a while. Good to see you. You look great.
Oh, it's been a while. We have to get together, really.
Yes, we do. And LaWanda, I don't know if you met Alnita Lord Bo. She's one of our newer providers.
No, nice to
Good
meet you.
afternoon. Yes, good afternoon. Nice to meet you too. Nice to meet you too.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I like your, I was about to say, I like the painting. I like that mug. Come on, take me back to my childhood. Come on.
Thank you. Thank
Can I
you.
see it? What is it, Bo?
Oh, the mug is Ninja Turtles.
Oh my goodness, I love it. Okay. That's a lot of fun. And welcome, Diamond. Looks like we have one participant so far. Welcome. And Angelica Garcia is here. Terrific. Welcome, welcome. We're just waiting. I'm going to give it a few more minutes for some more people to sign on, and we will get started. This is to me, such a relaxing soundtrack, No, understood, Diamond. Absolutely. Getting those little people to sleep can be a task. Oh, okay. Welcome, Kenya. Good to see you. So a couple more minutes. How you doing, Kenya?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
Good, 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 good. I'm glad to hear that.
Good.
We'll give it a couple more minutes. How have people's weekends been so far? I know it's only Saturday, but
It's been good so far. It's gonna be 60 degrees. I'm ready.
Yes, definitely a good thing, right?
Mm. Hi, boo.
Hi. Okay. So do we have all of our presenters? Wait, we have Kenya, we have Lawanda, we have Bo or Alnita. Who are we waiting for? Waiting for Kathy. And waiting for one other person. Let's see. Lisa, are you presenting today?
No, was I? No.
No, you're not presenting. I'm trying to remember who it was.
No.
Okay. Great, we got Kathy. Torian, it was Torian. Wonderful. All right, terrific. So we are going to get started.
Okay, good.
So welcome
Hi,
everyone.
you could hear me good, right? I
Yes.
don't hear you.
Oh no. Can everybody hear me?
Hi, I don't hear you that good. Let me see what's going
Okay. Okay, so
on. That is so weird.
welcome. I'm Amira Martin. I'm the founder of Amira for Her. Terrific seeing you all here today. So today we're going to talk about a couple of things, right? Well, first is the vision of our practice. Amira for Her focuses on providing high quality mental health care to BIPOC women. And if you are looking for a provider, you can find us at amiraforher.com, okay? But today we are talking about her mind, where we are focusing on some of the really important topics that our BIPOC community is facing, especially BIPOC women, okay? So unfortunately, Shari Simon, who was scheduled to discuss LGBTQIA+ issues today, won't be present, but in her place, we have another terrific therapist, Kathy Olivares, who will focus on Latina women's mental health, okay? So just to get started, is there anything that people feel like they definitely would love to talk about today or that's been on their mind around mental health? Feel free to put it in chat if there's anything that has been on your mind about mental health. We're also gonna have some questions and some polls and that sort of thing. But if you have anything that's been on your mind about BIPOC mental health, please do feel free to put it in chat, okay? All right, we have a few more people joining us, terrific. So again, any questions you might have about BIPOC women's mental health or anything that you've been dealing with or want to work on around your own mental health, feel free to put that in chat, okay? In all transparency, I had a horrible stomach virus yesterday, but I am here today and I'm excited to be with you all, okay? So to start, Kenya Evans Pickney, I would love for you to start us off with a very important topic around Black women in leadership, right? We know that Black women in leadership often face something called double jeopardy, right? Where we experience more negative perceptions or are treated more harshly, where there's an unfair standard than Black men receive, and then white women and other women of color receive. So double jeopardy is a really serious issue for women leaders, Black women leaders, and all BIPOC women leaders, but especially Black women leaders. And another thing that's really, that just comes to my mind when I think of Black women in leadership is imposter syndrome and, what that's like having to work through imposter syndrome and that sort of challenge. So Kenya, if you could I'm so sorry. I'm going to turn this off. If you could go ahead and introduce yourself, Kenya, and tell us a
Mhm.
little bit more about Black women in leadership, that would be absolutely terrific.
Okay. So as Amara stated, my name is Kenya Evans Pinckney. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I'm graduated from Fordham University, 2007, and I have been in this field for the better part of 20 years. I've actually been a leader for the last 20 years as well. So why I do the work that I do is because during my long career, I have never had anyone mentor me, sponsor me, um, just be my cheerleader, as I like to say to other folks. I'm sorry, this poll is annoying. So, and it was difficult. It still is difficult. When I show up in a room, I bring my confidence. My capability speaks volumes, and I'm just smart. Period. And I often outshine folks that are in the room, and that makes people's inadequacies come to the forefront. And that often looks like people calling me the mad Black woman, right? Because I'm direct and I'm clear and I don't play games. Like when I show up, I have a goal in mind. We're going to execute that goal while I'm also supporting and mentoring and sponsoring the people that are on my team or in my circle. So like Amara said, there is a lot of stigma. There's a lot of racism. There's a lot of unfortunate circumstances that Black women specifically have to go through in the field. Right now, I serve as the Chief Program Officer at Jericho Project. I am the only person of color on the executive team. And in that agency, most of our staff and tenants for that matter are people of color. So often I have a different mindset. I have a different way of thinking because I'm one of them, right? Like I'm not any different than my staff or my tenants. So it's a struggle to speak in a way where white folks can hear it, particularly when you've gone through some of the same instances that your tenants and staff have gone through. So again, the reason I do this work because it's very hard to try to advance in this field, especially when you don't have somebody to co-sign you. So that's what I do. I bring people up, give them opportunity, whatever I can do to make sure you're going to do well and succeed. If it's within my power, I'm going to do it. And you don't also always have to work with me, right? Some of the people on the call now, I've known these people for 10, 20 years. Once I got you, period. You don't have to always be with me for me to be supportive. So that's my 2 cents.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Kenya. Just hearing like your challenges in leadership is really pretty inspiring, not only because you continue to do what you need to do in order to maintain a leadership role and continue in our fields, but also the fact that you're thinking about bringing other people up, right? Like a lot of people are not thinking about that. So that's absolutely terrific. And I feel like that level of like sisterhood and connection makes a difference for so many other people that you are then bringing up beside you. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Zoe makes a great comment. I think that we can talk about how we get labeled as aggressive when we are being assertive. Absolutely. That label, right? I don't know, Zoe, do you want to say something about that? What it's been like to be labeled as aggressive when being assertive? And if not, then would you share something about what that experience has been for you?
I mean, I think I'm kind of just piggybacking on what Kenya said, right? Because
Mhm.
I worked for 10 years in hospital-based clinics, both doing, case management services and psychotherapy services. And I'm the one who was always like very blunt and very direct with like, I don't agree with a course of treatment, or I don't agree with a diagnosis, or I feel like we're neglecting the psychosocial stressors of the patient. We're doing victim blaming. We're,
Mhm.
not really doing comprehensive care. And so I got targeted by, superiors for, being, too sassy. And, not to say that like I was, perfect, right? Like I certainly fell behind with paperwork like everybody else,
Right.
but I had the experience of really being specifically targeted for me being behind on my paperwork and nobody else was. And that I'm sure had everything to do with my mouth and
Mhm.
nothing to do with the fact that I was behind on paperwork.
Understood. Absolutely understood. And Keisha Taylor Glanville says directly to you, Kenya, thank you for your guidance and support and for being so instrumental in my career growth. That is absolutely amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
You're
Terrific.
very welcome, Miss Keisha. You deserve everything that I was able to grow you in and support you in. So thank you for being you.
Terrific. So we had a poll question, your mental health, your mental and emotional health. What's the biggest challenge you face in terms of mental and emotional health care? Most people are saying finding time for self-care. And then second and tied is understanding what's going on for me emotionally. So having that insight into your own emotions and being understood by others, right? So that insight and feeling that you're understood and feeling that you can connect. And that's one of the real key reasons it's so important that you do have a level of sisterhood, right? That you have women who have shared your experiences that you can connect to. And again, Kenya, I think it's amazing that you haven't had that, but you've created it. So thank you.
Very
And yeah, thank you so much. That makes me think of our next presenter, Bo, right? So a lot of people are saying Alnita Lord, LMSW, is licensed MSW. She's also a therapist with a mirror for her. And Bo, her focus today is on self-care and time management. Um, so, and I think that we can think about this in a couple ways. Well, one is that it's a really serious issue, like as we can just tell in the poll that people are kind of struggling with. But then also, when you are dealing with struggles with time management, um, or self-care, how do you find that time when you're being pulled in so many different directions to then take care of yourself, right? And I think that we as Black women, Black and brown women, BIPOC women and in general are taught to sacrifice ourselves for our families, for our communities, for others, to work hard, to be that workhorse, right? And to not stop, keep it going, do what you got to do to take care of everyone in your life that you need to. And if we don't learn to take care of ourselves, it really leads to us to us breaking down and to us not being able to do the things that we want to do or do them well. So, so Bo, would you please, and again, Bo is Alnita Lord, LMSW. If you could talk a little bit about yourself and about self-care, that would be terrific.
Hi, so yeah, my name is Alnita Lord. I go by Bo. I am a licensed social worker and I've been in the field a little over 10 years now. Self-care is something that I talk about a lot and something that I'm passionate about for the reasons what Amira said, because we're always pouring into others and I'm talking about this with my peers, my friends, my family members, because I'm typically reminding them and trying to remind myself to take care of ourselves, to pour back into ourselves because we can't pour from empty cups. You know what I'm saying? Stress shows up in the body in so many ways, so many different ways, whether that's headaches, gastro issues, gut health, nail biting, irritability, depression, anxiety. And it's just so important for us to find the time and be intentional about taking care of ourselves.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay, so I wanted to share my screen with y'all for a little bit, if y'all could bear with me. Because I want to go into it. I don't want to just like go over it. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. So I just want to go over a little bit about stress. Okay. So stress is a state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or demanding circumstances. So of course we can be stressed for negative situations or negative interactions with people, but we can also be stressed by the things that we love. And the reason why I want to highlight that is because some of us, we love our jobs, right? Some of us are in the helping field and we want to do this, but it is important to, or you love your children, right? But is it important to know that without balance, even the things that we love can be stressful on us, right? So I wanted, sorry, excuse me. So just without the balance and safeguards, and we can find ourselves being overly stressed and isolating ourselves. And so I wanted to highlight a little bit about all right, how stress can show up in the body. So like I was saying before, you have like your migraines, you can have asthma attacks, indigestion, gut health issues, unexplained pain and body discomfort, anxiety, back pain, overall weakened immune system. And this is one that I really like to highlight because I even noticed it for me, that after I had like an audit at work, I would get sick. Anytime there was audits or anything where it was like a high stress situation at work, afterwards I would find myself having to take a day or two off because I'm feeling ill, and it was because I'm not taking care of myself. And so now I'm trying to find ways to pace myself and be very intentional. And I feel like you're probably going to hear me say that a couple of times because self-care is about being intentional and paying attention to the things that your body is trying to show you. And so in mainstream media, this is how self-care is often portrayed, shopping, traveling, spa days, manicures, lunch dates. And these things are important. I love these things. I literally budget shopping into, I literally plan for shopping into my budget because it's what I like to do, but it's not the only thing. And so I want to make sure that we are highlighting what self-care really is. And self-care is the practice of taking action to preserve or improve our own mental health. It is a practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well-being, happiness, in particular during periods of stress. And this is important because of what I was saying before. We can let things happen to us, or we can decide that we're going to take action, right? And we can decide that we're going to be intentional and make sure that we are caring for ourselves, because we are in these spaces, in these places where people are pulling from us and expecting a lot from us. So when you think about self-care, I like to break it up into 8 pillars. And if you look online, you'll probably find more, but these are the ones that I feel like incorporates our whole selves. And so you have physical, and that's how we take care of our bodies, what and how we're eating, how often we're eating, what we're eating, when we're eating, how often we're moving our bodies. Are we going to the doctor or a health specialist? And I know sometimes that is scary in our communities, but maybe you don't want to go to a doctor, but you do want to, visit a nutritionist or some sort of health specialist, a herbalist, somebody that can help you tap into the health of your body. Mental and emotional health, how we take care of our mental and emotional health. Are we speaking to a therapist? Are we doing a social media detox? Are we speaking positively to ourselves? Are we doing our positive affirmations? Social self-care, how are we caring for our interpersonal relationships? Are we being mindful of not having phones out when we're with our friends and our family? Are we joining a club of interest? Are we ending unhealthy relationships? Environmental self-care, how we care for the space that we take up. Something as simple as making your bed in the morning. I know my mother would kill me, but I don't always. So are you making your bed in the morning? Are you reducing your waste? Are you donating the clothes that may be taking up too much space in the house? We have intellectual and occupational self-care. How we're caring for our brain and our ambitions. So are we learning new skills, new languages, attending a training? Are we reading self-development books? Financial self-care, how we care for our finances and our financial responsibilities. Are we creating and sticking to, not just creating, but are we creating and sticking to a budget? Are we reviewing our accounts? Are we working on financial literacy? We also have cultural self-care, and that's how we care for our identity. So are we participating in community cultural offerings? I know it was a little different when we were young, but they will have the block parties and the fairs, but are we still looking for these things? Are we seeking them out? And if they're not there, are we trying to find ways to develop them? Are we learning about more of our historical figures or teaching more about our historical figures? And then last but not least, spiritual. How do we care for and find fulfillment and purpose in this human experience? So how often are we spending time in prayer and meditation? How often are we attending church and spiritual gatherings? And how often time are we spending in nature? So one of the things, oops. All right, here we go. So for self-care reflection, I feel like this is actually a good time to do it because we're at the end of the month. And so this is something that I like to do with myself too. And these don't necessarily have to be for you, but just ways to check in. So during the month of March, did I sleep 6 to 7 hours daily? Or did I sleep 6 to 7 hours? And then you can look and see if that was daily, how many days a week? Was it almost every day? I ate at least 2 balanced meals. I spent time with my loved ones. I said kind things to myself, but it's just a good way to check in to see how you spent your March and then how you plan to spend your April. Because again, we have to be intentional about how we take care of ourselves. And this is my example. So my little brain dump at the end of the month, this is actually the one that I did for March. So at the end of the month, I like to check in. Mine says how I honor God, but yours doesn't have to say that. You can say whatever. But how I honor God is I can actively care for myself right now with what I have. And then I just looked at the different ways that I can do that based off of the 8 pillars of self-care. And so to share a couple, I want to read a chapter of the Bible daily. I want to attend 1 training a month. And I want to make sure that I stick to my budget. I have one and sticking to it is something different. And so for the month of April, that is going to be one of my goals. And some examples of a self-care goal, I will get at least 7 hours of sleep every day for the next 3 months. And so one thing that I like to do when I'm talking about any sort of goal setting is to make sure that it's a SMART goal. Is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it attainable? Is it realistic? Is it timely? And so when you're setting those goals, you want to keep those things in mind. The good thing about it is, although I know self-care, I've been saying it's intentional and it's on you, it isn't something that you have to do alone, because your therapist, or you can have an accountability partner, but your therapist can also help you process some of the triggers, the emotions, the trauma that gets in the way of the self-care, helping you set goals and creating check-ins, helping hold you accountable, and checking in when things are not going well, but most importantly, helping you celebrate your success, because you definitely will be successful in this. And so, yeah, that's just my little spiel on self-care. You could, if anybody on here is looking for a therapist, please feel free to scan the QR code. And you can also email me if you have any questions. And if you have any questions right now, I'm happy to answer.
This is amazing, Alnita. Thank you so much. And it's so absolutely necessary for us to think about that self-care, right? And thank you for those examples. So we did a poll. Do you have a self-care practice? 52% of our attendees today said yes. 37% said no. 11% said I am not sure. I appreciate how you talked about self-care in all those different ways, right? Financially, spiritually, emotionally, your relationships, like just so many different areas of self-care. So thank you for that. That's absolutely terrific. Does anybody have a self-care practice that they want to share, either in chat or on camera? Anything that's been working for you in terms of your own self-care that you'd like to share? Okay, so we don't have anything. That's okay.
No, I'll share. I like to do a lot of the things that Bo mentioned. I'm particularly a good eater. I love to eat, seriously. And I love to shop. I like to be outside too. Like today, like I said, it's going to be 60 degrees, so I plan to get some sun, some vitamin D. So that,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Absolutely. And Torian said that she journals. Michelle says going to get my hair and nails done. Tiffany Roberts asked if there's a way to view your presentation online, Alnita. Alnita, if you, Bo, if you want to share it with me, I'll add it to your information on our page. I'll add it to your section, okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, so it'll be a mirror for her, and then you just look for Alnita Lord or Bo. She goes by Bo, and you'll see that after today's presentation, I'll go ahead and add that. So that'll be terrific. Okay, dance parties. I love that, Kayla. And dance parties with your 5-year-old, even better, right? getting nails done, yoga. So I like to do some really simple self-care things in terms of my just emotional and mental health, my well-being. I like to take these little short breaks of meditation. As somebody who's dealt with my own number of challenges and issues, I like to take my little meditation breaks, and whether it's something that I need to do in the morning to ground myself, whether it's something that I need to do in the middle of the day when I'm seeing clients, to kind of just bring myself back to feeling centered and feeling really good. So let's do one now. We're gonna take a moment. I'm gonna go ahead and pull one up. Just bear with me while I struggle with getting this right. Oh, Tashari Yancey says reading, terrific. Inika says spending time with people who care for me. I love that, Inika. Okay, so I will pull up. Let's give me 1 second. Okay. So let's see if we can get this going. All right, so this is a meditation about self-love, okay? And let me know if you can hear this. Hi, my name is Amira Martin, and let's try to do this together, okay? Self-love meditation. Today I want to talk with you about a self-love meditation. I actually want to do it with you, and this is called 15 breaths. First, I want you to imagine yourself sitting inside of a circle. Okay. This circle can be in the park, it can be on the beach, it can be the current chair you're actually sitting in. I want you to imagine a circle around you. And now you're going to fill up this circle with self-love, and it's going to sink into you as you do this, okay? So I want you to take a nice deep breath in and out. Another deep breath in and out. Now, as you breathe in, I want you to breathe in these ideas to your circle, and these feelings are going to be in your circle and in you, okay? You're going to allow them in. Breathe in. I am safe. Breathe in. I am loved. Breathe in. I am useful. I am durable. I forgive myself when I make mistakes. I love myself. I am kind to myself. I trust myself. I accept myself as I am. I honor my needs, and that includes my boundaries. I am deserving of good things. I replace all negative self-talk in my mind, and I replace it with self-compassion. I am capable of achieving my goals. I am worthy of happiness and fulfillment. I am at peace with myself. Thank you for joining me for 15 breaths. Okay. So thank you all so much for that. Hopefully that was another way to get you just kind of like grounded into yourself and taking good care of yourself, okay? You're so welcome, Kayla. I am glad you enjoyed it. Terrific. Kayla says, thank you, Amira. I had chills. So good. Terrific. So now that we've kind of taken a moment, yeah, short and sweet, Zoe, absolutely. we try to make, trying to make sure that, things that you do can kind of fit into your day, right? Okay. Oh, Tanisha, 15 breaths made me cry. I understand, right? Like thinking through those emotions and feeling those feelings so consciously, can bring that up. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so our next presenter, just to transition over, I would love to introduce you all to Catalina Olivares, or Kathy Olivares. And she is a Latina woman mental health professional, and she's going to talk about some of the challenges that Latina women deal with, right? A couple of things that we may not be aware of, but according to the National Association for Mental Health, NAMI, 46% of Latina women experience depression, and Latina teenagers have a higher suicide rate at 13.5% than their non-Hispanic white female and Hispanic male peers. The Latinx population really does deal with a number of challenges similar to the BIPOC population as a whole, but there are specific challenges that Latinx and Latina women deal with. So just to introduce Kathy Olivares, I would love to hear you introduce yourself, Kathy, and just talk a little bit about Latinx women and mental health.
Yes, hi everyone. I'm Kathy Olivares. I'm a mental health counselor and a life coach, and I've been doing this for a while, over 15 years now. And yes, it's interesting. I really love what you do in Amira, and really for allowing us to express some of the challenges that Latinx community really goes through. I believe I experienced that myself as well. It is so true. The surveys are high, especially with teen women, teenagers. The high levels of depression and anxiety are so huge. Well, because our culture, the Spanish culture, right? They teach you so many different things. For example, spirituality is a big one. At least, in the cases that I had, and even in my own personal experience, everything is covered with being, you have to go, bring it to God, get up, keep moving, move forward, or you're not doing good enough, or you're creating some kind of sin, and this is why you're going through this. So a lot of the cultural beliefs plays a huge part of why the Latinx community has a very difficult time getting help. Even the new generations now, even my girls at one point will experience the desire to get it. And although I am a therapist, the comments within, family members will be, oh, they shouldn't talk about this in public. Or is she crazy? Or what is going on? The religious view comes in. They're not going to church enough, or they're not praying enough. And we're not the only ones who have experienced that, but Latinx community in general is something we deal with a lot. Um, the culture is a very big impact, but also the immigration status, the financial, how finances are. A lot of the family in communities, Latin communities, it tends to be a big household with more than one family member. So many different families at home, not having the privacy sometimes makes it different for many of the team.
I think we lost Kathy for a minute. Let's see if she comes back. Okay.
You're on mute, Kathy. Yeah.
Kathy, you're muted. Can you press unmute? Okay, so Kathy, you're muted. It looks like we're having some technical issues.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, my internet is really making a lot of routing. So sorry, I lost you for a little bit and I didn't realize I was muted. So as I was mentioning, the healthcare becomes a problem because many of the communities, Latin community, not only the culture, not only the language barrier, but also the difficulty getting the right help with healthcare. Sometimes when therapists are not knowledgeable of some of those belief systems in the Spanish community, they tend to be also misdiagnosed because of the way they're expressing themselves. They might say nervioso or nervous, and they might take it in a different way. And they have a hard time if they're not highly educated when it comes to cultural backgrounds. So yes, the Latin community experiences a lot, especially women, a lot of, barriers that doesn't help them really get the right help. Um, Again, family being the big one. Not only the language, but family, always with the beliefs of what you should keep inside the family and not share with anyone. Therapist is another human being. Why are you going to go to speak to him? Go pray. Or they won't understand you. So there's so many reasons why even teenagers unto this day have a difficulty, and the immigration status, which as we noticed with so much migrants going on, right? Schools have gotten a lot more, classrooms, a lot more students in the classroom, harder to get the help sometimes that they need. A lot of alcohol and drugs, a lot of trauma, a lot of these things are happening in the Spanish community, but unable to really talk about it because, the beliefs that we carry. And I know that each country is going to be different. South American, Central American, and the islands, they all have certain types of beliefs that really affect or get in the way of getting the right treatment when it comes to mental health.
And all different cultures, right, Kathy? I think that's a terrific point, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
But there's that shared idea,
Yes,
it sounds like, of like
exactly. Yes.
looking within to solve the
I
problem.
agree with you, Soy. Thank you. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes. Acculturation is something big. Thank you, Soy.
Terrific. So Kathy Olivares is one of our therapists at A Mirror for Her. Thank you so much, Kathy. I feel like those are amazing points that you made that we need to think about as providers serving the community, right? And also just as people, just to understand other people's struggles and other people's challenges and what they might be dealing with. Just in terms of our own just humanity, shared humanity and our experiences. So thank you, Kathy. Does anybody have any questions, thoughts, comments for Kathy? For any of the other providers who have spoken so far? Anything that's come up for you that you want to ask about or share about, anything that struck you? Okay. So with that, thank you again, Kathy. And again, you can find Kathy at amirrorforher.com. So next up, I would love to talk with Torian. So, Torian Yancey is one of our providers here, and but Torian's actually started her own practice, which I think is absolutely amazing. Okay. I don't know. Can you all see the results of this poll? The BIPOC women leaders who you have. Can you see this on your screen currently?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, terrific. So it looks like lots of different BIPOC women leaders that we have all learned from and have been inspired by. I love this. So just feel free to take a look while I introduce Torian. So Torian Yancey Stembridge is a mental health counselor. She is a licensed mental health counselor. She has been a provider with A Mirror for Her. She has done some amazing things with us. She actually started with us as an intern and now as an LMHC, a licensed mental health counselor, starting her own practice. So Torian is also a mother and also a woman who is very involved with her family. So Torian is going to talk with us today about parenting and family management. Okay. So Torian, please take it away.
Okay. Hi, thanks, Amira. Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, I'm Torian. I'm a licensed mental health counselor. And like Amira said, I'm a new mom. I have a 9-month-old daughter at home. So a lot of my time, aside from just working, is really just trying to manage life as a parent now and life like building a family. And I'm not sure what word I would describe it as. I'll probably get back to you on that. It's not a bad word, but I'm not really sure what word that I would describe it as. Maybe an adventure. And I would say like transitioning into parenthood and building a family and trying to manage that family, there's a lot of pressure, especially for, you know, women of color, because there is so much, like out there in the world about, about parenthood, especially about like like black motherhood, and everything and all of those stuff and all that, blah, and all of those things. Um, but I also feel like, you know, with everything that's happening in the world and like the crisis with like black maternal mortality, sometimes the fear is even just making it to motherhood, and to parenthood in general. Just thinking even trying to get through pregnancy can be a journey in and of itself. um, so and then once you get there, it's like, okay, what type of parent do I want to be? I thank everybody who's gone before me, because I think a lot of the things that have been talked about so far also kind of meld in to parenting and family management. The whole idea of self-care, the whole idea of, like transitioning, like being a leader, and all those things. All of those things kind of work interchangeably when it comes to parenting and family management, because you are the partner, you are the the parent, you are the employee or the career person, whoever it is. You are also the parent, and you have to manage and kind of juggle those things all at the same time. So it's like, how do you get it done? How do I get it done? I mean, when I figure that out, I'll let you know. So though that you have to kind of balance. And then even on top of parenting, I've heard a lot about like parenting and how like other people of color want to parent nowadays. I'm sure everyone has heard about like gentle parenting and all the I feel like it's such a like a buzz phrase by now. I prefer to just kind of say authoritative parenting, or just like treating your children with respect. But there's that. Yes, thank you, Monique. It does take a village, really to raise a child, and I'm very thankful for mine. I apologize if I'm all over the place. I'm a little nervous,
You're
so
doing great. You're doing
bear
great.
with me, everybody. You know, it's a, with parenting, you want to be able to give your child and your family the best life possible. And you want to do that without having them grow up and sit across from a therapist who is like you, talking about all the ways that it went wrong. Because I think as a therapist, that is what I get a lot now. I have clients who are still trying to like really process their childhoods and like process, what's happened to them, and really try to function and explore like what their relationships with their parents are now as, like as adults. And I know that a lot of people in this age group as adults, folks in their 20s and 30s, really want to work to break generational curses, and really just kind of continue to like build and kind of create a way where you can still be, you can still set clear expectations and set discipline without being without being like essentially like your child's first bully. And it's a yeah, it's a lot. And then also like another thing, I think like what everyone is kind of like saying in the comments, I can't really see too much of the chat. I haven't really chat since I started talking, but I'm sure that everyone is, really aware of just the whole idea of like holding on to everything. Like I said, there's a lot of pressure, of like really being like whether you're the default parent or whether you are like, like the main bread, like the, main breadwinner, whether you're held head of household, whether you hold a mental emotional load, whether you're the organizer, there's a lot of pressure on women in particular to try to hold all of the bags and juggle all of the balls.
Absolutely.
And
Tori,
it
and
can be exhausting.
a lot of people are just sharing, and just to share with you the chat, Kayla says, yes, doing the work is needed and gets so tiring. Diamond says, Monique says it takes a village. Diamond says, absolutely. The only way I'm surviving motherhood, I never understood how big this was until I had my daughter. Anika says, indeed, when I think of BIPOC parents, I think of warriors. I think there's just a lot of like shared understanding with what you're saying about how challenging it really is. That's what I'm really hearing in chat.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate, and agree with what everyone has said. It is definitely like a challenge and all those things. And, and thanks to Monique, I know she's sharing definitely some literature down there. I appreciate that. That's great. Being able to like really have community is important. And I've really noticed even like in the space of this, like an increase for me personally, an increased desire to like have community. Cause I feel like the last couple of years I've been very hyper focused on getting licensed and really trying to like build career and get into a space where I can, feel emotionally or even a little more or even a tad bit financially ready to like even have a child. So it's like now that I'm here, it's like, okay, I've handled all of those like accomplishing things. I want to be able to now continue and just kind of continue to cultivate my life and cultivate my child's life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I really appreciate what everyone has said. And appreciate everyone for listening. And I'm not really sure if I've really kind of given out much like advice or like really insight, but I think it's really just identify like who you want to be in this role and what you ultimately want to accomplish, and set your boundaries, ask for help, and, and just kind of like really, I don't know, believe in yourself. So, you're doing a good job no matter what.
Thank you, Torian. Terrific. Absolutely. I think you gave a lot of great advice in terms of like just thinking about our role. And you talked about breaking generational curses. And we all know, what we have worked through and come from as Black and Brown people, and what that's meant for us to have to learn to sometimes just to parent differently than how we may have been parented. We don't all have the same experience, but a lot of our experiences have been ones with like excessive physical discipline, right? And like that level of teaching of like, well, I'm going to show you so that the streets don't have to, or I'm going to, so that this white person doesn't get a chance to, I'm going to make sure that you know what you need to know so that you're not harmed out there. So you did, thank you. Thank you so much. Monique has a hand raised. Yes, Monique.
Hello there, ladies. Hello, Torian, whatever. You're fine. Your presentation was awesome. So breathe. And I think as individuals who are taking care of children, however that child came into your home, the bottom line is this: we're going to F up our kids one way or another. There's no crystal ball on how to do it the right way. They will go through how they were raised with a fine-tooth comb and a magnifying glass, like they are looking for where is Waldo, if they even know who that is, right? There's nothing you can do about that, but then do your best. Because when we sit back and we look at how the individuals that made that decision, or the decision was made for them, for us to be here, we sitting there like, yeah, I would have done things differently. But we're not looking at it necessarily from where they were at that moment in time and that locale in time. When I look at the lady on my birth certificate, that right there should tell you everything. I have to consider 1950, Macon, Georgia. That's all I got. And for those that don't understand it, I'm like, at the age that she was born to, a 15-year-old. There's no way in the world. I got a census report in 1950. Her great grandmother was already 65 years old. Y'all know she was sharecropping, probably since she could walk, right? So when you're looking at this from this through the lens of, and it only works when I have on the social work lens. It doesn't work when I have on the daughter lens. I don't give a damn. It's what happens, and being able to, I guess, at some point, as the children get older, for them to hear your life story, how you became who you are, because what they experience now did not exist. Maybe I'm the only 75 baby, did not exist when I came up in 75. This right here, if you went to college in the mid to early 90s, we did not have this. We physically had to go into the classroom. There was no online library search. No, you was going over to your library or another institution's library. That's just what it is. So being able to have those type of ongoing conversations that doesn't necessarily romanticize how we grew up, because I think each generation has a tendency of doing that, Torian, but you got this. That's all I'm saying is you got this. And of course, if you could do it all over again, you probably would make different decisions. I think we all would. But here we are.
Mm-hmm. So Monique, thank you. But I also see that you had shared a couple of books with us.
Oh yeah, cause I'm anal. So in my mind, my whole thing is I'm a foster mother. He's now 3. We've been together since he was 7 months old. He'll be 4 in November. Y'all know ACS, so just leave it right there. And those are the books that I'm using when I am considering, because he's a Black boy. In my mind, I have to protect you. I have to prepare you for whatever this world is going to have for you, which we know was not that much great. It is what it is, right? So in my mind, pour into him as much as I can within those first 5 years of him living, and
Yeah.
still be able to find that guidance for him. I'm a girl. I ain't never been a boy. I'm a social worker, but I've always had some Black boys around, and my responses to them is, I have no idea what you went through to entering
Mhm.
into young manhood. Your
Right.
young manhood training looks very different for me
Mhm.
being a girl.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, making sure that I'm getting some feedback from some men, and then also having my mental diary of the men that we've met over the years, and learning to do it very differently to how they came out, because we can't stand their mamas. Like, how is it that your son don't know how to wash clothes? Like, what are we doing here? So I'm thinking of the end goal in mind. You will be a woman's husband, and I
Mhm.
need for your wife and your mother-in-law to love me.
Absolutely.
Older. So
Terrific.
that's it. I'm long-winded. Sorry. That's all.
Okay, no, it's good. So thank you, Monique. So Monique shared Raising Black Boys by Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu and Keeping Black Boys Out of Special Education, also by Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu. Thank you so much, Monique, and I'm so glad you're with us today. Thank you. Okay, so we have one more presenter for today, and we're going to talk a little bit about trauma, right? Um, and obviously, we have all dealt with some form, most people, most humans have dealt with some form of trauma. Most Black and Brown and BIPOC women have dealt with some form of trauma. And oftentimes we deal with more trauma because we also deal with racism. We deal with systemic racism, we deal with interpersonal racism, and those can be really traumatic things in addition to whatever's gone on with our families and the things that we've had to work through and those intergenerational traumas, okay? So our final guest, I'm sorry, and I just want to go back for 1 second to Torian. Torian Yancey Stembridge, again, LMHC. Torian, what is your website if people want to find you to work directly with you? What is your website? How can they find you?
So I don't have a official website yet, but I am listed on Headway and Open Path Collective, and I'll put my email in the chat. So if anyone wants to contact me directly, they can.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Torian. Okay, so Torian Yancey Stembridge, LMHC. Great. And we're gonna wait for your chat. Thank you. Terrific. So moving forward, so Lawanda Riddick. Lawanda, what can you share with us? Can you introduce yourself to us? Lawanda Riddick, LMHC, a therapist with a mirror for her. And Lawanda, can you also talk to us about coping with trauma and a bit about trauma?
Good afternoon, everyone. So happy to see all of you and to be amongst these powerful women. I am Lawanda. I am a licensed mental health counselor, and I am bivocational, actually. Most of my career and continues to be is in education. This December will be 25 years. I have been a science teacher, and I have always wanted to be in psychology. So I went back to school. It's never too late. I went back to school, got a degree, and I've been with Amira since graduation. So I'm excited. I'm thankful for Amira. And this Women's History Month, I honor you, Amira, all of you women that are on the line, as well as my mother.
Thank you, Lawanda.
You're welcome. Thank you. So trauma, what is it? Trauma is shock. Shock. It is an emotional shock to an event, a physical injury. It can be one-time event or it can be an ongoing event. It is an emotional shock. And it can affect you so many different ways, right? So there's the biopsychosocial, spiritual ways that it can affect you. I'm going to talk mainly about the neural ways, the biological ways that it can affect you, right? So how does it affect the brain is what I'm going to talk about very quickly. Here's the brain. There are two parts of the brain that I want to talk about. There is this frontal lobe. This is the cortex, right? This is your frontal or prefrontal cortex, right? We all know that this is the part that doesn't develop or close up until age of 24. So when we're in our 20s, early 20s, and we're making these questionable decisions, we just, oh, the brain wasn't fully developed. It wasn't closed off, right? So there is the cortex. Then there is the hippocampus. So it's the side of the brain. I hope you all can see me. So we're talking about the front and we're talking about the side, the hippocampus. The front is responsible for rationale, just making decisions, problem solving. So here's what trauma does. When you are facing or you have faced a traumatic event or ongoing events, instead of being able to problem solve, you are now hypervigilant. It switches it. It affects it. So problem solving where, oh, there's a situation. Let me see how I can solve it. Now you're triggered. And you're always hypervigilant. You're going above and beyond. Maybe you see things that are not there. Maybe you're experiencing situations that are not real because your emotions are being triggered by, what are the five senses? Touch, taste, sound, smell, and sight. One of those five things has been triggered, and now you're hypervigilant. Let's go to the side. The side of the brain, the hippocampus, is responsible for memories. Trauma in the hippocampus. The hippocampus that's responsible for new memories, now trauma comes in, attaches itself to the side of your brain, and now it says the new memories that I've made or the memories that I've made are going to be based on that one event or the ongoing events. So what does that mean? It means that you are always under stress. You feel stress in your body. You're experiencing stress all the time. Somehow something stresses you out. You're more susceptible to it. You're more likely to experience it. Here's the good news. Here's the good news this Holy Week. Happy Ramadan, happy Easter, Resurrection Sunday, or just happy being alive, whatever. The good news is the brain is malleable. So with therapy, meaning it'll stretch, it'll change. You can still change it. It will change, but it can go back to what it was in the beginning. How do we do that? Bo already said it. Thank you, Bo. Go to Bo's presentation, and everything she said there is correct. That is how you do it. I'm going to focus on community. Get in community with people that may be able to validate your experience, share with you, simply listen to you, sit with you, cry with you, hug you, whatever your love language is, get into community with them. 2 more things and I'm done. Monique Hunt, who shared just a second ago, she and I were talking earlier, and Amira mentioned it as well. We were talking about post-traumatic slave disorder. So we know what post-traumatic stress disorder is. We know what it is according to the DSM-5, right? But there's something called post-traumatic slave disorder. And specifically, what we were talking about was epigenetics. That's where I'm going to end my part. So what is epigenetics? Short colloquial way. She get it from her mama. He get it from his daddy.
Mm-hmm.
That's the everyday way to put it. Scientifically, what it says is that the trauma that slaves have endured and continue to endure, the people of the ancestors have slaved that they have continued to endure, what it did was it went in and changed the DNA inside of the body. And now, when you find someone that is maybe nervous, sensitive to some things, look around them in their environment. It could have been something that was passed along. It is a nature versus nurture. Trauma alters both nature and nurture. So it alters how you would naturally show up in your DNA, but also the way you've been nurtured generation upon generation upon generation, and that is passed down. They first studied it with victims of the Holocaust, and Monique said something to me. She was like, "So you're telling me we can't study this for slaves, the ancestors of slaves, when we continue to endure?" Absolutely. So, everyday example of what this looks like. I'll give you mine. I'll put myself out there. When I drive, first of all, nobody can tell me that I can't drive, right? I think I'm the best driver ever, right? But here's where I'm humbled real quick and I get nervous. If I see a cop car going in any direction by me, if they pull up behind me, the siren doesn't have to be on. I don't have to hear, I don't have to see lights knocked it immediately. Oh, sweating, and I'm nervous, and oh my gosh, and you know why? Because I'm responding to a traumatic event. I'm responding to what I see on the news. I'm responding to what I read. I'm responding to social media, what I hear. I'm responding to all of the times that I've read about it. I'm responding to maybe one incident. And guess what? It's never happened to me. So here's what I also want you to remember. Trauma can be secondary. You do not have to experience it to feel it. However, in order to heal it, you must feel it. In order to heal it, you must feel it. So I want you to be very careful about reading everything, staying on social media, watching those videos, the sensationalism, that's the word, right? Yes, of those videos. Be very careful because you can become someone with PTSD. And if you're a person of color, now you got PTSD and PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder and post-traumatic slave disorder. How do we heal it? Do everything Bo said. Get into counseling. There's availability with Amira for mirrorforhim.com. Feel what you feel. Get around people that are going to validate what you feel. Get rid of the shame. Don't allow shame to take you down. Be vulnerable in that moment. Vulnerability is the antidote to shame. Be vulnerable in those moments. And I'm going to end with I journal, right? If you can't find anybody to talk to, get a notebook, spill it. And if you think somebody's going to see it, write it in invisible ink or get a lock. Thank you. Feel it and you can heal it.
Thank you, Lawanda. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think everyone can relate to what you were saying, and I so appreciate your passion and you really speak into what we have experienced and gone through in terms of trauma and are going through. So thank you so much. So now we're going to open it up. Just anything that people want to bring up. I see lots of thank yous and people saying that they needed that. Really appreciating what you've had to say, Lawanda. So we'll open it up to anybody's questions, comments for Lawanda, things in general. We're going to end in a few minutes, but is there anything that people want to talk about? And I do want to also kind of just add, Inika and Jadika, LCSWR, is also here. She is one of our therapists. Inika specializes in grief therapy. Inika, is there anything that you want to share today?
Lawanda, I just dropped the mic, Lawanda. And when I think about grief and I think about post-traumatic slave syndrome and the intersectionality of who we are as BIPOC people, I think that everything Bo said to the next level is what we need on a regular basis. That's it.
Thank you so much. So Michelle Thomas asked about doing retreats with full day sessions of self-care like this. That's actually something that I'm working on with Amira for her. We haven't gotten there just yet, but I will add your name to the mailing list, Michelle, so that you can definitely be kept abreast, okay? That'll be terrific. Yes, Denise, that'd be amazing. Absolutely. Okay. So last words from our speakers, from our panelists, questions, comments, thoughts. We really welcome you to be in community with us, and we appreciate each of you being here with us.
Amira, can I say something?
Sure, absolutely, Luis. So Luis is also a therapist who has worked with Amira for him. Luis, yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry more men aren't listening to this because it's been great. A lot of the work that I do, or all of it, I can't avoid getting into anti-colonialism. I think all our problems, everything that I'm hearing today, and that you all know, I don't think I'm saying anything you don't know. Well, I know you're not, you know this stuff, is that I really do stress the colonial impact on our life. And it's something that I think it has to be more pointed out because we live in a society that's under lockdown. All of us are worried 100% of the time, even if it's not about us, worrying about our own safety. We're worried about our relatives that are going out, who's going to get stabbed, who's not coming back home. And we live in a society where when we leave the house, we really can't guarantee we're coming back. We have this epidemic. I grew up in Harlem, and I never worried about not coming home. It was really safe for me. But that's not the era that we live in now. And I'm sorry that it's predictable what's happening in our society today. Is violent, mental illness, and our politicians are all thieves. We have taxation without representation because none of us want to pay the taxes that we're paying to support the trials that are going down in Washington, D.C. with Trump and everything else. I mean, all that money should be going to reparations. So that's why I stress it a lot, because we're traumatized because of somebody else, not ourselves.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's enough. I could go on forever. Amira knows that.
Thank you, Louise. I appreciate you. And that's a great point. Tanisha, yes, I see your hand is up.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm on my phone, so I'm sorry.
No,
But
it's all good.
I did want to say, one, thank you, Kenya, for inviting me to this forum. This was amazing. And hi, Bo. So I didn't know that I needed this, but thank you for this community. I feel understood, and I feel like I have like a circle of sisters right now. This was very enlightening, and I'm emotional. I did say I cried earlier, but like all of the topics that we spoke about, I can relate to. And I feel really blessed and I feel very grateful for you ladies. So you guys are doing an amazing, amazing job. And I can't wait for the next one because I'm there. But thank you. I feel like you ladies are my sisters now from this one workshop. So thank you. Thank you for this. It was much needed.
You are so welcome, Tanisha. We're so glad that you joined us. Thank you. Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Monique, yes.
Okay, I promise my question won't be long. I know I'm chatty. Having an understanding of what it is we experience as professionals, as Black women, and on the higher education side, I'm noticing that there isn't as much written material authored by us and research. Is that something that you all are considering doing, putting out some thought pieces with actual data with people that look like us that can really kind of shift the how we provide supports for people? Because I find that the model that we're taught, be it in social work, psychology, it is rooted in a Eurocentric lens. And our life did not begin when we were stolen and brought over here to work for free. And so I'm just wondering, other than, Frantz Fanon and Francis Cress Welsing and some other individuals that work backwards to incorporate some things, I was just wondering if you all are considering.
Thank you. Thank you, Monique. That is a challenge to rise to. I think it's important. It's not something that I have made a point to do, but I know that some of our providers, like Shaniqua Schloss, several of our providers actually working towards their doctorates, and research is part of that. And they have done some work with trying to show how our work affects clients and what the need is and that sort of stuff. I will talk to Shaniqua and find out if there's anything that she can share with us, but Shaniqua Schloss, she's someone who I think might be doing some of that with us, but I'm going to double check that. And thank you. That's a great point. Lisa and then Stephanie. So Lisa, yes, I see your hand is up. Lisa? We can't hear you.
I'm having a whole conversation with myself. I think I need therapy. The therapist need a therapist. Right.
Good to see you, Lisa.
First of all, I want to say thank you to all the ladies that spoke. because y'all all inspired me. Thank you to the people who didn't speak, but who showed up for, as a support group or whatever. Amira, I love you to death. On and off of social work. I've been with you since 2019 when I was getting my MSW as an intern or whatever, and I'm still on board with you. And I just want to thank everybody. You are so positive and you're making a very good impact for women of color. You are one of my inspirations and leaders to, help me. Anita, boy, that's what you call Bo. I'm gonna call you boy because boy, okay, okay. You really hit home for me, and I just want y'all to know. None of y'all know my professor, but I'm in school getting my PhD now in social work, and now I have a capstone from using this conversation from this piece that we want. Don't tell my teacher, shh. But thank y'all. Thank
That
y'all
would
so
be
much.
amazing, Lisa. Thank you. Thank you. And if you could share that with us, that would be amazing once you get it done. Thank you. Terrific. And Stephanie, yes.
Hello, everyone. I'm here with Dr. Renee Robinson,
Oh, wow.
and we are listening to. I first want to say that everything that I heard so far, you women are so beautiful in and out, and it's really sad sometimes when this beautiful panel has this much knowledge, and a lot of us don't hear it. It is by the grace that I do Amira's hair.
Yes, she does.
Shared this with me. And I am so glad that I was part of this. Every face that I see, you are some beautiful Black sisters. And to add intelligence on top of that and to share the knowledge that you have is just gems that is dropped. And you guys are the ones that's in the trenches that's doing this. And you are 10%. And if that 10% can reach, you reach me, so, and you reach Renee, who's here. That 10% can reach outreach. We will get the word across because it is sad about the things that we endure and we encounter that is genetically, quote unquote, passed down. But we need to know why and how. And you guys share that. The why and how. People can talk all they want, but if you don't show people how to come up out of those things, that's what makes it difficult. That's what gives the stigmatism of being mentally is not that it's stigmatism, but it is a real thing. But people think that you can't be helped, and then they stay in that mindset when it really is help. But they just don't know about how to, and you guys got it. You guys got the key. You got the golden key. So I say keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you.
Goosebumps. Such goosebumps. Thank you. Good goosebumps. It's just powerful.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. Thank you both. Next up, I see Diara Anderson. Now, Diara Anderson, I know personally and professionally, and I know Diara Anderson is also a doctor. So, Dr. Anderson, yes.
Hi, thank you. Hello, everyone. Blessings to you all. Wow, you guys are powerful women. It was good to hear what I heard today from the presentations. They were short and sweet and very, very effective. And so just hearing like from different aspects of it, like I really specialize in trauma. So just hearing the twist on it from the neurological aspect was amazing. And then I really love self-care. So is it Boa? That was awesome. And just hearing from like the 8 pillars. And so I thought that that was dynamic. So it was just good to put all the pieces together and just learning a little bit more about the Latinx experiences and what they go through and parenting. Like it was just really awesome. So good. I came a little bit late, so I don't know if I missed like an earlier presentation, but it was really good. And I just want to say to Amira, like, this is you, like you put all this together, like you are amazing. Like, do you know that? The first day that I met Amira, which wasn't that long ago, but she's had a significant impact on my life in that short period of time. And when I sat down in her office and I was like, so, we always ask the question, what'd you do before you started this? And whoa, I was like, what? What? Why are you here? Like, you're way bigger than this. Like, you're way bigger than this. And I can see you just like reaching the nations because you are a powerful woman. So I just want to encourage you to keep pressing forward and doing what you do. And everyone, that's under my voice, like, we really do have a voice in this world, whether we are a patient and we're not a therapist, we all have a voice and we all have an impact on the lives of the people that we encounter. So, let's just do great things and just stay encouraged. And so thank you again. Oh, one more thing that I wanted to say, as far as like the trauma work, yes, everything Anita said, Anita Boa said to do is great. Absolutely. And so, but I also do EMDR, eye movement desensitization reprocessing. That's really powerful. It cuts talk therapy in half. I also encourage like internal family systems, IFS. That's another good intervention that helps with trauma. So these things would like really help expedite the process so we can get this done sooner. The sooner the better, so that you can go and just live your best lives. But thank you for this time. And I hope that we do this soon. How often does this happen?
Well, we're going to try to do them quarterly.
Okay.
But maybe you can also present with us, Diara. That would be amazing. And I know you do EMDR, which is a trauma specialty work, which is so needed in our community. Would you be comfortable sharing where people can find you in chat, either your email or a website where people can find you if they need that really strong trauma therapy help? That would be great.
Yeah.
And thank you. And I'll share, like, I've been through some trauma, and this is something that I talk about. I've dealt with my own trauma. I dealt with domestic violence as an adult, and I dealt with some pretty severe trauma, and it got to the point where I couldn't function. And it was an EMDR therapist that helped me personally. So I really just want to recommend that if people are dealing with some severe trauma, absolutely. The everyday steps are what you need to be able to get through, which is what Alnita talked about, which Bo talked about, which is amazing, right? Like that's how you can get through day-to-day life when you're going through something really hard, or just to get through your daily stress, right? But then sometimes, and like in my case, I needed specialty trauma treatment because of the intensity of the trauma. So I saw an EMDR therapist for about a year, and it was truly life-changing. I got myself back in ways that I hadn't expected to. So all praise to EMDR therapists, and to be a Black EMDR psychologist and a doctor, I just thank you, Dr. Anderson. Okay, so Zoe, I know you've had your hand raised. Yes, I would love to hear from you.
Hi. Let me see. Okay. This is I'm kind of working on my iPad now because I'm trying to multitask. But I just wanted to say how much I enjoyed being part of the conversation, and hearing from the presenters, the information. Certainly, some of it's new information, new and interesting. Some of it's like a refresher, which is always good, right? It helps kind of get the brain percolating again. And I just wanted to say like how much I enjoy, working with the clinicians at Amira for Her. I'm one of the clinical supervisors. I'm not one of the therapists, but I do, get so much gratification from, training clinicians who are women of color, to help and be part of the healing process for our communities, right? Both, Black and Latina and all Black, Black and Brown persons. So I gotta run, but I did leave my IG in the chat, which is a Real Talk with Zoe. I would love to connect with all of you and continue the conversation in any other capacity.
That'd be amazing, Zoe. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Kenya, yes, I see you have your hand up.
Yes, I have my hand up. I just wanted to circle back and let folks know when I did my presentation, I said I'm all about people of color, right? So I want to offer me to all of you because I, sit in a C-suite seat, that gives me access to different things, different people. So if you need guidance, support in anything, especially navigating white spaces, unfortunately or fortunately, I've become pretty good at that, because that's all I'm surrounded by. So please, like I said, I'm one of the therapists also, at Amera, for her. And I provide clinical supervision as well. And I also mentor people. So if you need me, I'm here.
Terrific. Thank you so much, Kenya. Absolutely. And we have one more person. And Kenya, if you want to share where people can maybe share your email address so people can reach out to you, that'd be great.
Will do.
Okay. And finally, Michelle Thomas. Yes, Michelle, I see your hands up.
Hello. I'm the one that brought up the retreat. I just wanted to kind of, I guess, expound on that, because I think it was Dr. Anderson was saying, it was small. Everybody's presentations were small, but they were mighty and impactful. And I just would love to be immersed in that for a couple of days of sessions like that, self-help, self-care, things like that. So that's why I asked, what do you do women's retreats? Because just like even a long weekend or something like that of just being immersed in such impactful sessions like what we had today, but more expanded, would be awesome. Thank you so much for this. I'm so glad that I signed on. Thank you so very much, ladies, for all that you have done and continue to do. And I'm looking forward to that women's retreat.
Terrific, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you. So hopefully this coming summer we'll start the planning with that. And I just appreciate each and every one of you being here today, and your words are incredibly touching and meaningful. And thank you for your contributions. Okay, so with that, we will end. Have a great rest of your afternoon and weekend, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you, folks.
Take care, everyone.